for me, it's been an interesting experience growing up and then obviously working with other men and young men who are going through these experiences and understanding that a lot of it has been a lack of awareness, a lack of comfortability, and then a lack of language to properly articulate what it is that you're actually going through. And so
Hmm.
hopefully, the purpose of having these conversations is to slowly change that narrative and change that outlook so that it can be more comfortable.
Yeah.
But I do think culturally we have to be aware that that can further suppress our willingness to seek out help, right? So
Hmm.
I would like if you can touch on it briefly because you were sort of going there from your experience, both maybe you as an individual or you as a practicing therapist, can you identify some of the challenges that maybe you see like Latinos maybe struggle with when it comes to seeking out mental health services?
Yeah. This a lot has to do with mental health stigma in the broad sense, but even in the more narrow sense too. In that mental health stigma, just again, like I mentioned earlier, we made some headway in destigmatizing it, normalizing it, while seeking out support. This month is Men's Health Month, um, and also to Men's Mental Health Awareness Month is kind of like lumped into that. Last month, May was National Mental Health Awareness. So
Right.
there's the campaigns and things like that, but nevertheless, stigma is very prevalent within the society at large. So we still have a lot of work to do. But when you look at it, even from a cultural perspective, a cultural lens, I think of just being a Latino male and the idea of machismo, chauvinism, this
Hmm.
idea of pretty much toxic masculinity, and that, a man is strong and a man doesn't feel emotions, he doesn't express emotions. It's all rooted in warrior culture and so many other things. Is that we just keep fighting, we keep going, we don't have time to grieve or whatnot. We keep going and going and going. But then for
Correct.
generations, when that's the norm, pretty much, yeah, it's programmed in us as men, Latino, and even just in my experience working with African American men too, is that gets suppressed. You don't deal with the emotions. Those things are reserved for women. So there's even
Yeah.
that chauvinistic, sexist component to it. Is that emotions are for women, not for men. You suck it up, you deal with it, and you move on. Any expression of your emotions, conveying your emotions in any way, shape, or form, especially those related to hurt, grief, and sorrow, are basically um, a minimization of your masculinity. So if you
Hmm.
cry, you're not a man. So
Right.
masculine identity, and again, this warped sense of you have to be stronger, whatnot, has really inhibited a lot of Latino and just men, again, amongst many other populations, from
Yes.
seeking out the support they need. And I think too, just what has been a little disadvantageous, unintentionally, of course, is that when just men decide, okay, well, maybe I ought to seek a therapist, and they're looking for a male therapist, especially one of color. We're very scarce, on a national level,
Yes.
a local level, and it's like, well, okay, well, they don't exist. Maybe my problem isn't as bad as it is. That's
There
kind
we
of
go.
like a de facto message programmed into their
Yes.
minds. So, okay, out of sight, out of mind. I don't have to deal with it, but we know deep down inside that that's not the way to go. That suppressed emotions, it's like a volcano. It just builds up and builds
Yes.
up. Before you know it, boom, everything explodes. So, yeah, I think just undoing stigma at the broad level, but even at, a cultural level, in normalizing emotions as being a totally human experience, is that
Mhm.
when we feel things, it's okay to have those reactions. I compare it to getting a paper cut. You get a paper cut, one of those clean ones especially too.
All right.
It's a tiny thing, but it hurts like hell for those couple of seconds. But that
Yes.
whole ouch reaction, that's what we do as people. That's how we
Right.
respond to things like that. So if we lost a family member and we're grieving, and we feel like the tears need to flow, they need to flow. But that again is a natural reaction, just as human beings. But
Mhm.
transmitting that message, and again in particular to men of color, that it is okay. It's totally okay to cry when you feel your feelings and emotions.
Yes.
Allow yourself to be human. Don't do the opposite, because that can just, the consequences of that can be disastrous.